URC final, folks. Glasgow against the Bulls, and how many of you picked that? Not me. A week after beating Munster, they go down to South Africa and win themselves the URC in its third season. We're going to go through some key events and some stats, but ultimately, packed out Loftus Versfeld. Both sides missed some chances. Bulls solid lead in the first half, but only 3 points in the second. And Glasgow came out firing in the second and just took the game away from the Bulls, man. Final that goes down to the wire. It's certainly a fitting way to finish, but Bulls fans will be absolutely disappointed. But yeah, an away win. I've been watching Scottish rugby teams long enough to know that just when you think they're about to do something great and they're about to win something, usually it kind of goes to custard. But they actually hung on for a famous victory. Big congratulations to the Glasgow boys. Commiserations to the Bulls. The Bulls got themselves on the board early in this game, man. 3-0 lead after Dempsey was not releasing. And then the first Glasgow chance, they went down the Bulls' end. Johnny Matthews with a kind of double pump at line-out time meant it was a free kick, so a mistake. And then the first scrum, the Bulls pack just demolished Glasgow. They got a penalty up for touch. They didn't get anything from it, but Peterson and Curtly Arons, they had this little move together, and it was looking ominous. Eventually, they went through some phases, and with Glasgow giving away a few more penalties, the Bulls opted for a 3. It's finals rugby, so why not? And 6 points to nil. Weirdly, the Bulls though got pinged for a not using it call at ruck time after 5 seconds having elapsed, which is one you very rarely see get called, but it got called, so kind of a soft way to restart having just got yourself 3 points. So you want to get the ball, have a nice exit, but they gave away that. So Glasgow had a chance to scrum it, but after some phases, Glasgow just kind of passed the loose pass, and Papier was able to hack it through. So it was still the Bulls that were looking the more dangerous, even when they were down their own end. I mean, Glasgow had a yellow card warning on 21 minutes, 2 many penalties conceded. There was a bit of handbags. The Bulls mauled it, which got stopped, and I feel like the Bulls maybe mauled it a few too many times in this game, even right towards the death. But yeah, they weren't really getting a heck of a lot of pay from the maul. They went through some phases. Lowe went close. The prop, Wilco Lowe, not Elric, and the TMO ruled on-field no try. They had a look. Rory Darge just had his arm under the ball, so how important is that in the scheme of this game? Rory Darge, absolute try saver. But that being said, a few minutes later anyway, the Bulls did get the score. So Marco van Staden, he was maybe the Bulls' best player on the field. I mean, just when they did kind of go for one of the times they didn't maul it, they went for looked like they were setting the maul. It was kind of a fake maul. Then van Staden peels off, has a big carry, clatters into some Glasgow defenders, releases the ball, picks it up again, and then just barges over for a try. So man, 13 points to nil. It's looking all peachy from a Loftus and Bulls point of view. I mean, Cancellieri did have a nice intercept, and Stain went close, but Glasgow ended up knocking it on. Curtly Arons had kind of scrambled back to put in the tackle on Cancellieri, so Glasgow was still looking in the game, but they didn't have anything to show for it. And you'd say easily at this point the Bulls, good value for their 13 points to nil lead. Devin Williams had a big line break in his own half. I thought maybe he could have dinked it through for Arons at a chase. Maybe hang on to the ball a bit longer, but they ended up kind of getting nothing from that one when they had loose ball. And then key moment, I feel like the game, I don't know if it turns on this one moment because the game is full of key moments, but with the clock in the red, Glasgow get one last chance to attack the Bulls line. They go through some phases, and finally they get some reward with Cummings going over, as I said, clock in the red. So 1 minute into the kind of added extra minute of the first half. So that goes from being a 13-0 comfortable, 2-score lead for the Bulls to being absolutely game-on, confidence-boosting for Glasgow. I think that, along with the Darge try-saver, that's the kind of stuff that just gives you that bit of mental boost. So you go into the sheds, the run meters, 129, 235 in Glasgow's favour, but the Bulls have had more possession. Clean breaks is 2 apiece, but defenders beaten 24-9 in favour of Glasgow. Like the Bulls' tackle percentage is in the 70s, which is drastically low. The Glasgow boys are at 90, which is something they've been cracking at all season. We talked about it in the preview. Their defensive numbers have just been phenomenal. Second half starts ominously if you're a Bulls fan, because Glasgow are absolutely firing. The Bulls managed to win a penalty on their own line at the breakdown, but it's kind of a get out of jail. They were under pressure very early. The Bulls did have a drop goal shot from Klusen on 50 minutes, but it went wide, but they had advantage anyway, so they go back for the shot, which he takes. 16 points to 7, back to a 2-score game, but that's the final scoring of the Bulls. And we've still got half an hour to play. Like, that's... You're not going to win that many games if you can't score more than 3 points and a half, especially at home with 50,000 screaming fans cheering you on. It's just bizarre. And then especially frustrating. Remember we talked about the Bulls earlier, kind of mucking up that restart when they had got pinged for not using it after 5 seconds. They muck a restart again. Elric Lowe just kind of knocks it on. He jumps for a ball that he probably just could have caught on 2 feet. And Kurtley Aronson plays it from an offside position, so it's a penalty. Glasgow go for touch. 6 meters out. They maul it. Maul goes over. Turner, who's come on for Johnny Matthews. The back's got in there as well to shove the maul over. Now we're at 16-14. You've just made it a 2-score game and immediately conceded a try. So, remember we talked about Glasgow coming out of the blocks. They had some momentum in that second half. Mackay has a big line break not long after the restart. Although he kicks it long and it goes dead, so it's a bit of a let-off for the Bulls. But the Bulls are getting pinged. They get pinged at scrum time once. Kurtley gets pinged for a contest in the air. So what happens? They get punished, man. Slick backline play from Glasgow. Like, they were playing some bloody nice rugby. You got Stain going down the left wing. He goes close. They get it back. George Horn. Quick recycle ball to Mackay, to Stain, and then back inside to Jones. 21-16 on 63 minutes. And that's the final scoring of the game. We've still got just under 20 minutes to go, but yeah, Glasgow, they've been a different beast. End of the first half and the majority of the second. I mean, there's TMO check on a Dempsey try a wee bit later, but there was an early tackle on Kurt Lee, so that one got chalked off. The Bulls mauled it in reply. They went through some phases in Glasgow's 22, 16 of them. But then Kurt Lee Aronson gets pinged for a poor clean-out where he goes around one of the Glasgow guys' necks. Horn gets tackled in the air, which means Glasgow can take a shot to give them a 2-score lead, but his kick goes just short. Glasgow go 12 phases. Bulls win a penalty. And then just when Hussein probably needs to take his time and find a nice bit of touch, he rushes his kick, tries to catch the Glasgow guys unawares, and just kicks it dead. So, I don't know, man. Just a lack of composure from the Bulls, eh? It's surprising. I mean, the Bulls have been prone this season to a few kind of soft moments or the like, but yeah, that was just maybe a bit of pressure. There's a long TMO check as well, not long later, for a Tom Jordan high tackle on Klopper. It takes them ages to find the right footage. Eventually they find it. It's an upright tackle. It's borderline red. There's only a couple of minutes left, so it doesn't really matter if it's red or yellow unless the game goes to extra time. But they say there's enough body in it that's not directly to the head that it's a yellow. So he goes off, and that gives the Bulls one last crack, because Glasgow, prior to the going back for the foul play, had actually just won a penalty under a bit of pressure, which may have been the game. But the Bulls up for touch. On 78 minutes, man, they maul it. It goes nowhere. They go through phases, but Glasgow go off their feet, so it's penalty conceded. Touch again. 5 meters out this time. What do? They maul it, but it gets stopped, but this time it's illegally. So you get to go again. Third throw of the dice, and the third chance held up by Glasgow. Excellent maul defense, and the game is over. I mean, the Bulls had scored earlier. It's the kind of captain hindsight over here to say it in the post-match, but the Bulls had scored earlier when they had looked to maul and then done something else. But yeah, they kept going for that maul and it just wasn't working. Run meters finish 516 to 269 in favour of Glasgow. Possession finishes just in favour of the Bulls, but territory in favour of Glasgow. Defenders beaten is 40-15 for the Warriors. That means the Bulls' tackle percentage finishes again in the 70s, which is really poor. That's one of your worst tackling efforts of the season, and it's in the final. Glasgow, 92%. Incredible. Test match level. Clean breaks also 6-2 to Glasgow. The one area where, if you're a Bulls fan, I reckon you might feel like the ref, maybe if you want to get down that avenue, like penalties conceded was 17-9. So to have 17 penalties conceded and only there was one yellow card warning, usually refs will have shown a card by then. Like, obviously, Tom Jordan got the one for the high tackle, but that wasn't like kind of repeated infringements kind of thing. So to go 17 penalties and not get kind of more than one warning or get a yellow card is maybe a bit unusual, but with that second half, it'd be hard to argue that Glasgow aren't deserved winners, man. They just played better. Turnovers conceded also, the Bulls 12 to the Glasgow 9. So all the kind of key stats, clean breaks, defenders beaten, turnovers conceded, tackles, Glasgow got better numbers in kind of all these key areas. Individuals, Van Staden beat 4 defenders. He also made a bunch of tackles, but like you look at the wings, Peterson had 8 meters. Kurtley Aronson had 20 meters. Like the Glasgow boys, Stain had 76. Mackay, the fullback, had 84. Mackay beat 7 defenders. Stain beat 6 and had 3 clean breaks. Dempsey had 100 meters, although one of those would have been that kind of chalked off try, but he also beat 7 defenders. So, yeah, man. What a good news story for Scottish rugby, that one. And it's 20 past 6 in the morning. I've been up all night. Managed to survive it. I'm going to go to bed. And then probably watch England play Japan, which I haven't seen yet. But I've been spoiled to the result. But not a real surprising one. And I might watch the Super Rugby final on TV because I haven't seen it. I've only seen it from the ground. But yes, you guys let us know your thoughts on the game. And we look forward to some test match rugby next week. URC season is done. Congratulations, Glasgow Warriors. That is a hell of an achievement. See you guys later.